The question is about smoking. Is it makruh? Is it haram? I guess there's some connection to our topic today. In brief, smoking was considered disliked as it was poor manners and imitating non-Muslim culture in a way that wasn't known to be harmful, physically harmful, medically harmful at a certain time. And in fact, in America, there were TV commercials where doctors, physicians, would recommend a certain kind of cigarette, a certain brand. And endorsements came from physicians. What does that tell you? When a physician smokes Camels, and they were saying 9 out of 10 doctors or more doctors choose Camels for its flavor, and talking about which, of course this is no longer in the time that we're in. The doctors are all clearly warning against the dangers, the medical dangers, of smoking. But in a time when the studies had not been known, we should learn from this really. Things that haven't been around long enough to have their effects, their 10 and 20-year effects studied, then we shouldn't be so confident and so ready to jump into those affairs, as cigarettes is a very clear example of that. After a few decades of being used, the long-term effects, deadly long-term effects, were known to the people, and they began to advise the people based on that. And this is why you found earlier scholars would say makruh, disliked, because in general it was a thing brought from non-Muslim culture that doesn't look like good character, but people would be afraid to say haram. They didn't want to say haram on any behavior that someone would do that we just haven't seen before. So this would be labeled as makruh, disliked, better to avoid, but to put a sin on someone for doing it, they were reserved in doing so. Then when more knowledge is available, studies are done about the long-term effects of cigarettes, and the scholars of Islam are unanimous as well, that it is harmful. It is something that harms the human being, so Allah Ta'ala does not allow us to harm ourselves, to kill ourselves, to do away with our physical health. It is impermissible, and no scholars today are reserved about declaring it to be impermissible. The only point of confusion that comes is when people of desires want to sell cigarettes, or they want to continue smoking. They want to justify it, so they dig up the old fatwa and they say, oh, so you say Sheikh so-and-so wasn't a real scholar, and they dig up the ones that are frozen in time before studies were known, and they go dig up those old fatwa. Or muqallideen that are assumed to be scholars, blind followers of their sheikh that are assumed to be scholars because of some social status or something, and they say, even today, he says it's still makruh and it's not haram. He's just simply saying what his shaykh had taught him without considering the new evidence that has come in. All of that is to be avoided. All of that is desires. And we strictly avoid things that are known medically, proven to be physically harmful to your health. You are to avoid them and not to think, well, I need a fatwa from a scholar to declare it impermissible. It is something haram by the verdicts of the scholars.